The American Legion begins its centennial commemoration this year, so naturally, the 2 million wartime veterans of our organization are reflecting on the journey that we have taken over the last century. In doing so, we are rediscovering not only who we are and what we do every day through 13,000 local posts in communities worldwide, but why we do it. When you explore the original purpose of the American Legion, support for veterans, defense, youth, and patriotic values, a common denominator emerges. The American Legion was built to strengthen America. That is the why of the American Legion. I believe that's also the why of Congress, and that common denominator that we both share. The American Legion and Congress have been through a lot together over the last century to strengthen our country. And despite some political turbulence at times, we have found a way to do just that. Now let's remember that when the American Legion was founded, there was no House or Senate Veterans Affairs Committee. There was no VA. There was no Veterans Preference Hiring Act. There was no GI Bill, nor any program to help disabled veterans restart their lives. If you made it back from World War I, you got $60, a train ticket, and permission to wear your uniform home. One American Legion National Commander famously said, "Convicts released from prison receive better support than that." The American Legion and Congresses of the last century thought that that's a pretty risky way to treat the men and women who sacrificed some or all fighting under our flag. Moreover, the American Legion founders believed that a nation which does not take care of its veterans will have a difficult time raising a motivated fighting force should the call to arms come again. And that call always does come again. Fair and reasonable treatment of veterans was then, and it still is, a matter of national security. Today, we are more than 16 years into a war that has produced more than 3 million post-9/11 veterans. Nearly a third have suffered some kind of physical or psychological disability. All put their lives and careers on hold to serve our nation during a time of war. Their demographics have changed much faster than their system of support. For example, the growing percentage of women veterans whose service, health care, and dignity are only now and slowly achieving measurable attention. I submit to you that the American Legion's legislative agenda addresses the challenges today of our veterans, male and female, head on. Most emphatically, we address today's challenges by holding ourselves and government accountable to care for those who have come home ill, injured, and suffering the invisible wounds of war. And understandably, expecting to see a VA doctor within 30 days of making their appointments. Now, knowing that my time before you is short, I will highlight just 3 of the American Legion's key legislative interests. And of course, the first is choice. Everyone here understands the American Legion opposes the slippery slope of privatization. To be clear, our first priority is to get veterans the care they need, where they need it, and when they need it. And that is simply not happening on a consistent basis today under the current Choice Act. We understand that community care providers can and do fill gaps when VA facilities are overcrowded or they're distant. We also know that not all community care providers want VA patients, nor are they keen on the reimbursement process, the time it takes for payment, and in many markets, the price VA is willing to pay for care. That leaves us concerned that VA patients may find themselves left to the care of whichever provider is willing instead of the provider of highest quality. If the solution is to use community care providers, conditions and relationships must be established to ensure that veterans are not simply sent to the provider of least resistance. It is of paramount importance that approved community providers have 21st century digital access to VA medical records. Today, as VA operates with tens of thousands of unfilled health care positions, the American Legion feels it is imperative that competitive recruitment and retention of VA professionals rises on the priority list. If the supply of VA healthcare professionals meets the patient's demands, the need to use community care services would be relieved. When choice is the best way to provide timely health care for our nation's veterans, we must ensure that veterans never pay for the health care to treat their service-connected injuries. VA's high-quality standards must be met. Medical record sharing is modern, convenient, and expedient. The VA reimbursement process must be fair and timely for non-VA providers. And finally, Mr. Chairman, a strong community care relation must be driven by one simple mission: to provide the best care possible for our veterans in a timely manner. Second, the American Legion has been waiting while the federal government has spent billions to stand up an integrated lifetime electronic medical record system that finally connects the Department of Defense and the VA. The American Legion calls on Congress to ensure that progress over the last year to integrate these systems does not get bogged down in bureaucratic mire or dropped from budget priority list. Third, the American Legion continues to fight for better transferability of military training and experience into credits that can be used for certifications and licenses in specialized civilian career fields, and to give military personnel and our veterans college credits based on their training. Underused apprenticeships and on-the-job training opportunities for veterans using the post-9/11 GI Bill can be stimulated through incentives, promotions, and red tape reductions for employers and program participants. For many of the career paths, our veterans do not need to start with Chapter 1 because they already finished the textbook. And sometimes they did that while they were on the battlefield. Benefits and opportunities we, as a nation, provide for those who have served in uniform are not acts of charity. They are matters of national security, of making America strong. If we're unable to provide promised VA care and benefits to veterans who need it, we send a clear message to future men and women about what awaits them should they choose military service. In the recently released movie 12 Strong, about the Special Forces soldiers who fought the Taliban in the early stages of today's war, a line attributed to Colonel Mulholland reminds us that the most important thing we can take into battle is a reason why. Strengthening our nation is the American Legion's reason why. We gratefully look back at recent accomplishments such as the VA Appeals Modernization Act, VA Accountability, and the Harry W. Comrie Veterans Education Act of 2017. They demonstrate that Congress shares our belief that if you give veterans a chance, they will exceed all expectations, and in doing so, strengthen America. And while we're reflecting on current legislation, legislative accomplishments, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you from the entire American Legion for your support of a bill to mint a U.S. coin honoring our organization's centennial. You can rest assured that any benefit from an American Legion U.S. Mint coin will be applied directly to help veterans succeed, surpass expectations, and strengthen our nation. I saw firsthand what that looks like last month when I toured Puerto Rico and the hurricane-torn islands of the Caribbean, where U.S. veterans and American Legion members were standing strong with amazing resolve, putting the needs of others before their own as their VA facilities and their communities remain far from restored. Those veterans asked me to send a message to you and to my American Legion family members. They say thank you for all of the assistance so far, but the rebuilding process is far from over. So please, do not forget them. The road to recovery can be a long and difficult one, and in most cases, all they need is a fighting chance to succeed. I think there's a lesson in that. Now, as you know, my theme this year as National Commander is Family First, and this includes military spouses, the children, Blue Star parents, veterans' families, and of course, our American Legion family. We are indeed all strengthening America together. That is the why of everything we do. Chairman Rowe, Chairman Isaacson, Ranking Member Tester, and members of these critical committees, thank you for holding this hearing. Thank you for all you do for our nation's veterans and their families. Thanks to your talented staff. But most importantly, thank you. I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you.